Chances. Come on, keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going.
What makes you think that I've forgotten?
Oh my God.
What makes you think our dance is done?
No. Yes.
Each scar, every drop of blood, I will feel forever. But now, it's my moment in the sun. They say the hardest role you will ever play is yourself. But what you've just witnessed is the performance of a lifetime. Mariah May, you may be the woman from hell, but you came from my womb, and I will shove you back up there and spit you out, for I am timeless, timeless, timeless Tony Storm, and I'm gonna rip your tits off!
She's back! My God, what a moment! And we saw it here tonight on Homecoming!
In 3, 2, 1, clap.
Benoit balls.
I still think Kevin Sullivan did it.
I'm Aubrey Edwards. I'm not a wrestler.
Tony's quick sniffs of the week.
No, just my dickhead friends causing concussions and shit. All right, never mind.
Hey, how's barbecue sauce? So good, half the face don't work.
With Hogan that close up on the fucking camera reminds me of my racist uncle. I know you ain't listening, but you know who you are, you fucking racist.
Uncle Oh my God, for real, don't tell me that's his name. No way. I was kidding. I swear to God. It was just the first thing that came to my head. It was the first thing.
Welcome to the Top of Wrestling with your hosts ODM and the Professor.
Good Wrestling Day. I have a lot of excitement right there. Shouldn't for what happened this past weekend, but hey, it's the Top of Wrestling podcast. I am the Professor Mark Fantasia, saying that this is my last show for probably the next month, and man, it's fucking really bittersweet. But I think I'm gonna have we're gonna have some fun today. I know that I'm ready, so let's just bring him in. ODM, what's up?
Well, I'm here.
Yeah.
Let's see. I at some point banged my forearm against the corner of a doorway. Hurt like a bitch when I woke up. One of the tips on my steel tip darts broke. So I had, I had to order a new set online today just to kind of keep me going. Hopefully they're here before darts on Wednesday night. Buster, I guess I'll say go Eagles, but I'm still kind of sore about it because I hope a meteor just hits the stadium. And because of fair weather fans like Tiger Queen, I have a hard time rooting for the Eagles. So let's just play the sad music and we'll be back to it next season.
The Bills make me wanna shout, kick your heels up and shout, throw your hands up and shout, throw your head back and shout.
Remember the old band I was in, that Foo Fighter tribute band?
Yeah.
So the drummer is like a fucking, I don't know, like a distant cousin in some way. And he is the absolute worst because, like, he's always like the one every time he loses. He's like, fire McDermott, like one of those fucking morons. Everything. It was this call right here. If we had this, we would have had this. Blah 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 blah. Like, man, we didn't play our best game. That was not good fucking offensive or defensive football.
Yep.
We would have gotten crushed by the fucking Eagles. That's why I know that much. So, is what it is. Like you said, out of the next season. So fuck it. Fuck it, we're live, pal. Let's go on to some really good shit. Let's talk about this week for wrestling, or at least this show. We got news, we got results, we got bringing to the table in the Monday Night Wars. I would say, I don't know, I think you put Chris Jericho's debut on Raw, I think, probably above this, I think, when we did our crossovers. Mm-hmm. But this was the epic one, where it was a team of guys, a whole lot of people coming over. The Radicals make their way over to Raw. Former WCW champion leading the way, too. And our top topic is, we're going to be talking about Royal Rumble moments, some of our favorite ones, but really, we're going to be breaking down our predictions. I think we're going to be talking what is our hopeful prediction, like a bold prediction, and then also a likely prediction. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not going to say Carmelo Hayes is going to win, but if that was my bold prediction versus who will actually win. But hey, let's get into some news here. Like I said, the FOMO, as the kids call it, it's real. This is going to suck not being here for the next couple of weeks, but also, not only am I not allowed to talk after the surgery, I'm not allowed to whisper, laugh, do anything. So I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to listen to the show or not.
Yeah, it's going to be hard. Thankfully, we don't make people laugh too much, so.
No, we make each other. That's
no,
I
joke with Wheezy all the time. I go, half the fun of this show is trying to make you pop, you know?
Yeah, same.
So.
Because I'm hoping I was going to sound gross. If I'm popping you, I'm popping someone else. Anyway, let's get on with this. It'll be in good hands next week. I did see you put in something here about Titan Towers. It's sold for $3.75 million, and it's to become apartments. Who owns that? Owned? WWE owned it.
Okay.
I didn't know if it was a Vince McMahon purchase or a WWE
Oh,
purchase.
okay. I'm pretty sure it was WWE that owned it. Yeah, they sold it to some real estate broker. It's going to become a massive apartment complex. I mean, it's Stamford, you're basically overlooking the water, so, it'll be some great views in those apartments. God only knows what they're going to cost, but. I wonder if you have to pay extra money.
The thing was even still around.
Yeah, I wonder if you got to pay extra for Vince's office where he was shitting on women's heads.
That is definitely the commode.
Yeah.
We're going to call that room the commode.
The commode.
So, we talked about how Baron Corbin went to his real original name, Tom Pestcock.
Peacock?
Or it's Pestock.
Petsock.
Yeah, anyway.
Yeah, something.
Well, he trademarked a new name, and I can only assume his next step is into porn. Bishop Dyers.
Sure.
Right?
It's better than Tom Pestock, I guess.
I guess. I don't know. I think porn is the next step. Bishop Dyers. Oh my God, he's going to be working with Vince's new company. There's a thing I sent you. A couple of weeks ago on SmackDown, Naomi was dancing and just kind of shaking her ass at, I think it was maybe Liv and Raquel, or it doesn't even matter who it was.
Right.
You see Bayley wind up, and the thing is that it says Bayley thought about it. You see her wind up and then stop and go, yeah, just put her hand in the air instead. She almost forgot she was on TV.
Mm-hmm. She was about to do the wiggle.
And then JR just got equally as dirty right after that. I saw another tweet I had to send you. It made me laugh. Thunder Rosa puts out a picture of herself wearing basically, I assume, a bikini kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Fucking JR but did he retweet it? I think retweet it and
Retweeting
looking
commented.
good, Thunder.
Yeah, looking good, Thunder. Yeah. She ain't no Jezebel, but damn, she looks good.
It's gotta be a lot better than Sonny. So I know we got this past weekend. We did have Saturday night's main event. Look, it was everything I knew it was going to be.
Mm-hmm.
It lived up to the exact standard, and it's funny the backlash people give with this. I'm like, and I said it last week. You just don't understand Saturday night's main event if you're not understanding. It was not made to be title-changing events.
Yeah, it's not a pay-per-view.
But Gunther did retain versus Jey Uso in the main event. Braun Breaker and Sheamus had a really good fucking banger of a match, as you knew it was going to be. Jacob Fatu got himself disqualified and beat the living shit out of Braun Strowman, which was awesome.
Mm-hmm.
When he had the chair and flung it at the one, I don't know, security or ref or whoever came in the ring, it took it like a quick throw right to the head, like how RVD used to throw, or Sabu would throw him at people. Yep. And, I mean, gave him, you wrote it here, the Bronson Reed treatment. I mean, he gave Strowman 7 backflips off the top rope.
Yep, bunch of moonsaults. Yep. They had to pull him off at the end. It was great. They teased it well, too, leading up to it on SmackDown. Fatu wanted to confront Strowman when he came out, and Tonga's like, nah, come on, save it. I like how they teased it. I had said Jacob better win clean. I guess this is a good way for Strowman to look strong. My concern is, are they going to write Strowman off for a week or two, or are they going to have another match? I mean, at some point you have to definitively put Fatu over Strowman.
He was coughing up blood.
Yeah. No, definitely, yeah. Gel.
It's funny because he did the same, he was the beast that got beat up by Braun Strowman, or not by Bronson Reed, like you're saying. And now Jacob Fatu's getting that push. I'll be honest with you. I'm not. We're going to get into it in the top topic, but I'll be honest with you, man. There's a small part of me that wonders what kind of push this guy could get this weekend in the Rumble.
Yeah, they might pull an audible here. It's something crazy. And I love what they've been doing the past couple weeks with him and Tama walking backstage and him just cutting the promo. Dude, he's gangster as fuck. He legit badass. I love it.
And it's funny because it's not all proper English, if you will, because it is gangster how he's doing it. He's actually, listen to us, we're gangster. No, it was very, it's just real passionate street promo. It's who he is. So, Rhea Ripley and Nia Jax, they had their match. Rhea beats her, so that took out what I thought was going to be the winner of the Rumble. I can't see Nia Jax going on and winning because it's we've seen this match before.
Right.
So we'll get there, but the contract signing between Kevin Owens and Cody Rhodes, I got to be honest, man, I thought it was just going to be one night. It's been, 6 weeks now I've been able to see the Winged Eagle title on TV again.
Right.
I've got my fill. I'm happy with it. And it's now going to be up for grabs, as both titles will be in the ladder match. Shawn Michaels officiates this contract signing. Loved Kevin Owens being like, and you had to leave because you lost your smile. Good for you. Excellent.
And the shirt.
The shirt.
Yeah.
Well, he was on. All right, so Cody sucks eggs.
Mm-hmm.
Is the shirt that he had on. The night before, while facing Jey Uso, he wore a Naomi Glow shirt to the ring. The dude's in-ring trolling is on fire. I almost wanted to come out wearing something Stardust-like. And
that would be hilarious.
I mean, Seth did the polka dots
in
the Hell in a Cell, which were quickly forgotten as soon as everybody's like, oh wow, polka dots. Then you saw Cody's pack, people are like, fuck the polka dots, look at his fucking chest.
Yep.
But one super kick from Shawn Michaels. Well, first of all, by the way, when KO goes to give him the pile driver, and then he backs up and his hat comes off, how quick Michaels put his hat back on. He's like, okay, people can't see how bald I am.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty bad. I don't even care if you're bald, man. Just let it go. Own it. But he gives KO a fucking sweet chin music. And KO just laid there.
Imagine that.
He must have a really, really weak jaw because
Yeah.
I've seen people take 26 of those in a row.
Mm-hmm. And get right back up. Yeah.
Bully Ray even.
Bully Ray,
which
yep.
I love. Take notice, one kick to the face. Think about real life. Come on, man. I mean, you can't when you come to wrestling, but still. But speaking of getting kicked and getting hurt, Dakota Kai was pulled from the road. She was hurt likely from that missile drop kick that she took on Raw. The one that I think it was. Oh, God. I get them confused. There's Ivy Nile and then who's the other blonde that's with. Who's the one that's
Wheezy?
with,
Wheezy likes her. She's
Sonya
with Otis.
Deville.
Oh no. Zoe Stark.
Zoe Stark gave a missile drop kick to Dakota Kai.
I think I remember seeing that one. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, she was pulled from the road, injured again. Wow. Poor girl.
Mm-hmm.
Contract news. So Alexa Bliss was set to return, but the Wyatt Six, well, they got shifted over to SmackDown, which gives her no creative. So her return is unlikely for the Rumble, but I see you have something else in here about a contract dispute.
Yeah, so basically it's being held up. The word coming out is that the initial belief was that she would just return under her contract, which was current to some extent, but she wants to modify it. She wants a new contract. Why, I don't know. I don't know the specifics of it, but right now it seems like they're at an impasse where they got to figure out and agree to new terms, and nothing's going to happen until then. So whether or not WWE, offers, like a rebuttal, or they just say, fuck it, it's not worth our time, that remains to be seen. I almost think it's better that she doesn't join the Wyatt Six. I know there's the history there, but it's almost history we should kind of forget about. The only two good things that came out of that were her mounting Randy Orton in the middle of the ring and the black goo spitting from her face, that weird mask.
I knew that it's your two favorite things. It's like you have them on loop, rent free in your head.
I do, yeah.
You see, now here's my one thing. Her contract dispute could be, you guys have me on an old contract, and I see that we're starting to sign everybody on some equal ass contracts around here.
Right.
It could be something like that. She doesn't have a whole lot of stock to come back to, is the thing. You know what I mean? Like, you've been gone for several years now.
Yeah.
So it's not like if you came back, people are going to lose their mind. There's a lot of new eyes on the product.
Yeah, and you even kind of referenced it. She's basically been replaced by Liv Morgan.
Yeah.
I mean, she kind of has that gimmick, which means you either have to come back with the Wyatt Six, which, again, I don't want to see, or you got to do something completely different,
Or it doesn't have to be Wyatt related. She could come back as a real dark character. We see her played it really well.
Sure.
Something recently popped up where she was on the swing in the ring. Someone asked her something, and she was just laughing hard, and then went bam to solid face, being like, "No." So I was like, she played the character really well. On to other people. Malachi Black is not eligible for the Royal Rumble. Even though he's done with AEW, he is not eligible in time for the Rumble. So I'd say maybe night after Mania would be great to see him.
There you go. Yeah.
No need to bring him in anytime soon. He'll just get lost in the shuffle.
Yeah. I mean, you could even always bring him back to NXT. But I don't think they will, but
I would love that. I'd rather go back to WWE's developmental system, or at least their B grade show or C grade show, than work for AEW and Tony Khan.
Yeah, seriously.
Mustafa Ali officially signed with TNA. Cool, good move for him. I thought maybe I was going to see him back at WWE at some point, maybe to right the wrong, but
Well, maybe you will.
Maybe down the road. Plenty of time. He's young.
Yeah, you got the crossover now, so.
Omos almost stayed in Japan for a little bit, but he's already dropped his GHC tag team title. He gave it over to Daga, who will now tag with Jack Morris because it looks like Omos is needed back in WWE. So my money says we're going to see the really tall guy this Saturday in the Rumble.
Probably. Yep. 100%. Did Buster send you the thing about a potential scenario for the Rumble?
Yeah.
With Pat McAfee?
Corey Graves and Pat McAfee?
Yep.
Did he tell you who made it? Fucking James Ellsworth.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, that's right.
It
yeah.
was his prediction that a masked man would take out McAfee because it's in Lucas Oil Stadium.
It's in Indy, yep.
Where he played, and Pat McAfee takes him out. Or, I'm sorry, Corey Graves takes out Pat McAfee, being like, look, you took my fucking job. I'm taking this from you. I'd like it. I don't think it would happen, but dear God, if that happened, that would be awesome.
Mm-hmm.
And he'll get some major-ass heat right there in Indianapolis with that crowd.
Big time. Yeah, the pop for McAfee
awesome.
alone will be worth it.
Oh, yeah. It's funny because he was in last year and then eliminated himself within seconds.
Yeah, because Omos was in there with, was it Braun? It was Omos and somebody. And he walked in and he's like, nope, I'm out. He did the, who did that before him? Jay Leno? Was that Jay Leno that did that?
Drew Carey.
Drew Carey, that's right.
When he got in there with Kane, he's like, you know what, I'm good. And somehow I think he's in the Hall of Fame, if I'm not fucking mistaken. Anyway,
why not?
Ricky Starks officially asked for his release. Oh, that's right. Yep, TK's Quick Snap of the Week, thank you. He asked for his release, and he was denied.
Big surprise.
I don't want anything bad to happen to Ricky Starks. I really, 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 really don't, okay? But it's like, this is going to sound bad. Like, I want him to die, but like something bad so that Tony can now see as much as you hung on to the death of Brody Lee and everything, and you said like everything that, like you just did it to him. You just fucking did it to Ricky Starks. He's doing it right now. I'm not saying now I want death upon Ricky Starks. I'm saying like, oh, God, let me ask you.
Tony won't see it that way anyway.
How much do you think the breach of contract would actually cost him?
Oh, who knows? Too much, because Tony has indispensable money, and he could fight it in court for as long as he needs to. And
but my
Starks
point
won't
is
be able
this:
to.
okay, you breached the contract. All right, you had me signed for $500,000. Here is $500,000. Eat a dick.
I'm guessing Ricky Starks doesn't have $500,000 he can just hand over. Just a guess.
You don't know that.
I don't.
You don't know people's financials.
Yeah, I don't. Man, I did something with Darts. I'll have to tell you off the air about that one. That was fucked up. I got another quick sniff for you, and it's your background picture.
Yep.
I was scrolling through Facebook, and, from time to time I will fact-check things, and I saw somebody clowning a shirt that AEW had in their shop. So the first thing I did before I sent it to the professor was I went to the AEW shop website, and sure as shit, it's there. It is there. What it is it's a Hangman Adam Page shirt, and it's got the rose and his boots and a couple dice and I think a blackjack, like an ace and a jack, and then his picture with blood all over his forehead because he's a badass.
The picture of Drew McIntyre.
The picture of Drew McIntyre. Yes, exactly. It is uncanny. You don't even have to hesitate. You don't have to look into it. If you took Hangman Adam Page and just the picture, you'd be like, oh, that's a cool new Drew McIntyre shirt.
Yeah, I'm buying this McIntyre shirt. So I told you. It's a cool looking Drew shirt. It's all bloody. It looks like him from fucking Hell in a Cell.
I want WWE to just kind of hide it in their search results on their shop website and just put a picture of Adam Page and say it's a Drew McIntyre shirt.
Actually, you know what I would do? Just a picture of Drew McIntyre, the bloody picture of it.
Yeah,
that's it on the picture. That's the whole shirt. It's funny because then you sent me a picture of Tony Khan playing with his
toys
wrestlers at a ring, kind of like Tiger. God, It's funny because you texted me. You're like, did you happen to see Toni Storm? And I go, unfortunately, Jesus Christ. So, her performance of a lifetime was playing the hardest role herself. And they wasted it on Collision on a Saturday night.
Yep.
They weren't. I think that it's because they thought they were up against Saturday night's main event and it was going to do something. Maybe. I don't know. But she stripped down to her underwear, smeared her makeup, and timeless Toni Storm's back. So that was the payoff. And didn't I just say I was starting to like the whole new idea of what they were doing with this? Okay, she's changed her gimmick completely. Nope. Just as quick as the high lasts, he busted his fucking nut and got rid of this fucking storyline.
Yeah, and that's the thing when you think about it, is the length of time that Amnesia storyline went. It is literally what it's like to see somebody on Adderall or speed or coke booking a wrestling show. Because nothing lasts. Because you just think of something else. You're like, oh my God, I got this really good idea. Yeah, but we just started this one. I don't care.
Well, that's funny you say that. They open up Dynamite with Ospreay and Omega arguing with each other. Ospreay, saying like, you left the company for a while with your diverticulitis. And Omega said, I let you be number one. Now you can go back to being number two. And then for Callis to come out, and all of a sudden these guys are on the same page fighting with all the Don Callis family. And now they're going to tag with each other at Grand Slam against Felcher and Takeshita. And the funniest thing about this is they did a part where Ospreay was going to jump off one part of the arena.
Yep.
And Omega was going off of this, the long, tall fucking Titantron metal thing. That
like a scaffolding almost, yeah.
The scaffolding, sure. Thank you. They spent all this time setting it up, and you completely missed Kenny Omega's jump. Completely missed it. And Ospreay said, this is the biggest jump I've ever had to do in my life, and it was like less than a ladder. The funniest fucking part about this whole thing is that later in the night, Hurt Syndicate win the titles. The background picture of it all is this whole gray thing, and someone put it best online. Really cool to see that the Hurt Syndicate won the tag team titles in an Amazon warehouse. And I can't not see it now.
It's fucking pathetic.
The announcers, they all used different names. No bullshit. One called him Cope. Someone actually called him Adam Copeland. Someone called him just Copeland. And Tony Schiavone actually said, whatever you guys want to call him.
Dude, Tony's been phoning it in since the fucking late 90s. He ain't stopped.
Since Vince Russo showed up, he has been in 2000 or 99, whatever you want to call it. He's been phoning it in. Ricochet got in Prince Nana's face with the smallest pair of scissors I've ever seen in my life. It's like to trim your fucking nose hairs. And he got in his face like, I'm going to kill you, man. Don't make me cut your cuticles. It was... And Nana looked scared as shit.
Fucking
it was kind of like that time the girl, whatever her name was, had that kendo stick right in her chest, and she's like, ooh, ah.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Don't just take a step backwards.
Oh, my God. Lost my place. Here we go. So, Buddy Matthews, Julia Hart, and Brody King had a video package, basically them saying, our leader left us. He abandoned us. And the House of Black, we are done. And then Brody and Buddy Matthews proceeded to tag with each other on Collision.
Yeah, makes sense. They're just done with the House of Black, I guess. They'll just come up with something else. The House of...
Basically.
Bees and Julia. I don't know.
The Bees. Took me a second. That Texas Death Match with Christopher Daniels and Drew McIntyre. Hangman Page. That was Christopher Daniels' last match after 31 years of in-ring competition. his best years were already behind him. I loved his work in Ring of Honor. I did read an interview where Frankie Kazarian said, they really dropped the ball with SCU. We were over as fuck.
Dude, yeah.
We were, man. And they gained the tag titles, but then within like 2 minutes, they were put right onto the Bucks or Omega and Page. They dropped the ball with SCU, and they were over. Remember this has got to be the worst city I have ever been to.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and everybody loved that shit. They're like, yeah, fuck our town.
Right, it's the opposite of the pop you normally get. No, I mean, dude, when we were doing, I think it was our first season when I would start with doing an impersonation. I did SCU the one time.
100% you did,
yeah.
Yep.
They were fucking great.
You said this has got to be the worst podcast I've ever listened to. Oh,
he ain't lying.
Hasn't really changed much. So on SmackDown, as I already said, KO was wearing a glow shirt. He defeated Jimmy Uso. Jimmy is starting to have some issues with Carmelo Hayes. By the way, did you happen to see last week, speaking of Carmelo Hayes, because he was on NXT and used to be tag team with Trick. Did you see last week when Wes Lee was talking shit in the locker room and Trick Williams wound up and slapped him?
Mm-hmm.
It looked like straight real, like you would see in the middle of a fucking fight in the middle of a street, like one getting going. It was. Did you say Will Smith?
Yeah.
That's fucking awesome. So, if you haven't seen that, look up Trick Williams slapping Wesley.
Mm-hmm.
Smack the soul out of his body.
Right.
Tiffany Stratton, Rhea Ripley, Nia Jax, Candice LeRae, Bianca Belair, Naomi, Liv Morgan, and Raquel Rodriguez all just got into a brawl. They had a 6-woman tag team match. The thing that surprised me the most, that bothered me the most, that was that LA Knight fucking defeated Tama Tonga.
Yeah.
Okay, fine, he's the more over guy. But I really was hoping Tama was going to win that. And I was watching it and hoping it. But LA Knight did have a really good fucking promo to Jacob Fatu when he goes, "You come at me like that again, I'll hit you so hard you won't ever stop shaking." Then does a shake mocking Jacob Fatu. I was like, all right, that's pretty good. Okay. Damian Priest was moved to SmackDown, and he actually defeated Carmelo Hayes. Very awesome. Love this move.
Yeah.
I think he had fought everybody on Raw.
Mm-hmm.
You want to keep him relevant? I think this was the best move possible.
Sure. Yeah, get him away from Ripley. I know they were good together and everybody liked them together. But there's only so much that they can do with that. It's time for them to go their separate ways, and having them on separate brands is probably the best way to do it. And like you said, just a new pool of talent to work with.
Yep, exactly. And as we already knew last week from Raw, Miz was moved over to SmackDown. And we only knew that the Wyatt Six were moved there. We didn't know that Miz was moved at that point. He actually said Miz was out on assignment. Miz spent a good chunk of the night just trying to get people to be working with him. Like we could really work well together. And the best one that made me pop was A-Town Down Under. Go, yeah, that sounds awesome. And I'm like, wow, that actually seems like a pretty good team of all fucking cocky people. And they called us, and you guys are going to Raw. And they were like, we're going to Raw. I laughed. Yeah. I thought it was awesome. All of a sudden now I'm like, now I want to watch A-Town Down Under shit, because of that segment right there. I thought it was perfect.
Yeah.
So poor Miz is left alone with the Wyatts on SmackDown, which, okay, I guess.
Whatevs.
So we do have the upcoming pay-per-view this weekend. We do have, of course, the Royal Rumble. We're going to be breaking that down really soon when we get into the top topic. But first, before we do that, we got to go to the wars. But before we do that, we got to bring something to the table.
Just bring it, bitch! Oh my God!
Can I tell you how much I absolutely fucking hate having surgery?
Yeah, I could only imagine. I think that's reasonable. I think it's reasonable.
Well, and I have it tomorrow.
Kayfabe yesterday.
What sucks about that? Yeah, technically, yeah. And what sucks about this thing is you remember my surgery back in 10 years ago, you know, the one that found the big C. Well, the big C in the left B.
Yeah. Sounds like a taco line. Did it happen at the EBDMB? Or B&B? EDBD?
Oh my God, that's nice. EBDMB. Oh, the league. Good reference. Which, by the way, hang on, before I get that, Lil John messages me, and he goes, what the fuck was that hidden track? I go, have you ever watched Breaking Bad? He goes, not a scene. Oh,
never mind.
That's not for you.
Bitch.
Guilty as charged. Anyway, back to what I was saying. Man, where was I? Besides the surgery.
The big
that,
C.
With the big C and the LB&B. No, during that, we found out a whole lot of issues about me. I was born with one kidney, but I also found out that I had sleep apnea. Because coming out of anesthesia, I bit down on the tube, and my lungs filled with fluid. And it was a long fucking, just everything sucked. Going under tomorrow. That'll be fun. So, you know. Cool. You never know.
Yeah, best
maybe
of luck,
next
buddy.
Week, this will be a permanent solo show.
Yeah, well, you know, or maybe you can just sue the anesthesiologist and make a ton of money.
Can't when you're dead.
Well, Mrs. Professor can.
The new Top Wrestling Podcast, ODM and Mrs. Professor.
Oh, she'd be like, no, here, go ahead, do it. I'm not doing this shit.
She's like, I'm just kind of count the Benjis.
Yeah, yeah. She ain't gonna be counting shit. Oh, actually, from the lawsuit. Yeah, there you go.
That's what I was talking about.
Gotcha.
All of a sudden, the podcast can take off out of my death.
Yeah, I doubt it.
Well, this just got dark.
That did get pretty dark.
Hey.
Thanks for setting me up.
Yeah, hopefully I'll have next week. You can either let them know I'm here or not. Okay,
oh yeah,
what do you bring to the table?
I'll give the update. Well, speaking of, since you're not going to be here, I had an idea, and we're going to trial it next week. Your first show not being here, I think it's so, you know, a little inside baseball here. You know, we do the Monday Night Wars, so sometime between recording the show and recording next week's show, I will sit down and I will watch the Raw, the Nitro, the pay-per-view, right? And I take notes. Right? And you've heard my notes before. Sometimes they're a little wordy, but I like to get detailed. Well, as you imagine, that could take a little bit of time, right? Because you got to pause every once in a while. It's kind of a pain in the ass. So what I'm thinking is I'm just going to hit record and basically make the Wars a watch-along.
5 hours worth?
It's not going to be 5 straight hours. It'll be chopped up. You'll get just the notes. I'm just going to describe like I'm dictating notes almost. And then I'm going to listen to it and see how boring it actually sounds. If it's any more boring than how I normally do it, then yeah, I'm not going to do it. But I figured I'd give it a shot.
I had so many jokes.
Yeah, well,
as
that was a
boring as I
softball.
normally do it. I'm like, well, the bar is pretty set at
well, that was the whole joke to begin with.
I'm excited to hear how the show goes, man. Like, you know, I take pride in some of the editing and a lot of that stuff, but outside of that, I mean, who the fuck are you going to banter with? You going to make fun of yourself? Are you just going to mock me and be like, well, he's not here to defend himself, so...
Definitely. That was the plan.
You're a... I'll cross over to another podcast.
Yeah.
Just kidding.
The Hermanos?
You like that? But that's how you do a segue, bitch. Go to the Wars. Monday Night Wars!
Wait a minute. Hey, wait a minute. My God, that's Chris Benoit, Eddie Guerrero, Perry Steiner, Dean Malenko. What are you doing here tonight? What the hell is going on here? Those 4 guys. Well, King, we know that it's all over the internet. They thumb their noses at their last employer. Well, I know that. What the hell is... They walked out on the Ted Turner organization, but what are they doing here? I know the WWF's been negotiating with those 4 superstars, but they've not signed any contracts that I'm aware of. I don't... Well, they haven't signed any contracts yet, so maybe they're just here to Well, they're just sitting at ringside, and they're here to get a bird's eye view of the competition.
Well, I'll say this is pretty radical strategy on their part, wouldn't you think? It was radical enough that they walked out on their last employer because it was a lousy place to be, in their opinion. And showing up here unannounced is nothing short of radical.
In what I would call a radical move, the landscape has completely changed for the Monday Night Wars. Ba-dum-bum. Dad jokes. All right, man. Hey, it's the Wars. No pay-per-view this week, which is kind of a nice thing. It's January 31st of 2000. And, yeah, okay, I made a little bit of a punny joke there, but I wasn't kidding. The landscape has definitely changed right here.
Mm-hmm. The pun. It's pun for the entire family. Oh, boy. So it's January 31st.
That's a pretty funny joke.
Yeah, that's pretty good, right? Raw's in Pittsburgh. It's the day after the Super Bowl where the Rams beat the Titans. We open up with the Outlaws versus Head Cheese, Blackman and Snow. Blackman, you get it?
That was the one where the Titans came within 1 yard of getting that touchdown to win right at the end.
I believe so.
Because I was happy they lost because it was after the fucking Music City Miracle.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you can go back to wrestling now.
Yeah, let's please do that. Blackman is sick of all the names and the gimmicks, and Snow says, I've got one more idea, Snowstorm. And he gives Blackman an umbrella and a poncho. And as they're going down the ring, Al Snow goes over to the guardrail, and he starts hugging people, and you realize it's the Radicals. Road Dogg gets dumped in the front row where the Radicals are. Starts throwing hands. Radicals beat him down. JR immediately calls them these four Radicals. So the name, I mean, they ran with it all fucking night long. They did not let you forget that one. Saturn hits a suplex on
that
Mr.
means Vince was like, hit it hard. Keep saying Radicals.
Mm-hmm. With a Z. All right, at least that's how I'm spelling it. Eddie hits a frog splash.
No, it is.
Yep. Malenko suplexes Road Dogg. Benoit hits his flying headbutt, which got a massive pop. I mean, the crowd was hot for this anyway, but when Benoit hit that flying headbutt, man, yeah. Cactus Jack is backstage with the Radicals. He asks Eddie, what's it like to go out there and see people in the stands? AEW anybody?
I was just going to say, it's like when Penta came over. What was it like seeing people on the side where the cameras were at?
Dude, you can't make this shit up. It's insane.
Right itself.
The whole story is that they haven't signed with WWF. They're invited guests of Cactus Jack. So, but that's great because after the beatdown, they don't go back to their seats; they go backstage.
Yep.
Kurt Angle comes to the ramp for a promo in his hometown. I don't know if I told you this. When I was living there, when I went to school there, they did. I think it was Papa John's commercials, and I think it was before Papa John's came to Rochester. And Kurt Angle did the fucking commercials, and like they had like an animated tomato on the screen, and it was crying to mimic Kurt crying when he won in the Olympics. It's so
that
cheesy.
Is awesome.
Yeah,
that's pretty awesome.
Yeah, and obviously it was before he came to the WWE or WWF, so he's still getting booed in his hometown. He runs down Lemieux and the Penguins, and he's going to be facing The Rock tonight. So, and then later, this is one of my favorite Raws so far of like the Attitude Era, just because so much shit. There's going to be a Lumberjill Snow Bunny match tonight because Attitude Era. JR kicks it off to one of 3 WWE Super Bowl commercials. This is the one where it's the maternity ward and all the babies are wrestlers and they're peeing on the nurses and say jabroni and farting. Because Attitude Era.
I like it.
I'm sure you did. I liked the last one that they said ABC rejected. We'll get there, though. Outlaws are in Triple H and Stephanie's locker room. They're freaking out about the Radicals. Triple H says, they don't even work here. What do you want me to do about it? Seems like a you problem. Big Show comes in, and he says he has proof on him winning the Rumble. Jim, the security guard with the backwards hat, he saw it.
Ponytail.
Oh, and speaking of ponytails, Big Show doesn't have one anymore. He cut his fucking hair.
It was a shock to see the very first time when I was watching this on Raw back in the day, and I was like,
yo,
what'd you do to your hair,
baby?
But Now it's normal to see, but it's actually more weird to see him with long hair now when we were watching the Wars, because I've seen him so many years without it. But yeah, the first time he cut it, it's a little bit of a shock.
He looked like beefy Buff Bagwell.
Oh my God, he did. You're right.
It's
a taller Buff Bagwell.
Yep, pretty much. Yeah. So and by the way, X-Pac is with Tori now. They're together. Tori, So there's that.
Yep.
And Jim, the security guard, he's like, man, from where I was standing, it looked like Rock's feet hit first. And then he just leaves. Triple H says he wants video proof. And if you do that, I'll give you what you want on Thursday on SmackDown. There you go. Next match, you get Christian versus Devon. Edge's mouth got all fucked up on SmackDown. He got a bunch of stitches in his lip. Bubba causes a distraction, which actually allows Edge to interfere and give Christian the win. Bubba comes in the ring, grabs Edge to throw him over the top rope. The best part is that when Bubba tries to grab him, but like he whiffed on it, like he got one hand barely on him, Edge just jumped over the top rope like he got thrown.
Yep.
It was fucking hilarious. Even
Bubba
Bubba looked over like, what the fuck? All right, fine. So they get the tables. Hardys make the save. Devon DDT'd through the table. Bubba gets thrown face first into the steps. And then eats a swanton through the table. We see Bubba got his face busted up from that. He went face first into those steps, man. It did not look pretty. Radicals are in the back. They're talking with Cactus Jack and the Hardys, and I think Edge and Christian might have been there. Mean Street Posse comes in, runs them down. Radicals beat the shit out of them. So I'm all with that. One of two handicap matches. Big Show takes on Too Cool. Show wins. Rock comes on the Tron, makes fun of the haircut, saying he's tired of hearing Big Show cry and moan. And he says, go back to Supercuts and get your $5 back, you jabroni.
That one made me laugh. I like that one.
That was real good.
Oh, Supercuts.
And then he cuts a promo on Angle. That match is next. Angle does the thing where he cuts the promo mid-match. Rock takes him out and says it doesn't matter. Angle tries to powder. Taz gets him back in the ring. Rock wins with a people's elbow, and this is the first pinfall Kurt Angle has taken since being in the WWF.
Man, he's gotten pushed pretty quick
to
where he's at. He's already facing The Rock within a couple of months of being on TV, really. So I forgot how quick he was really strapped with a rocket.
Yeah. I mean, he took to it naturally, too, right? It doesn't happen with everybody, but he did.
He also had the right talent to work with.
Oh, that's
true. The right
true.
kind of talent to work. You have to have another good dance partner.
Yep, that's true. The Bret Hart. What's the Bret Hart match they always talk about? What the fuck is his name? He faced that jobber,
Tom McGee or something like that.
Yes,
I know what you're talking
McGee.
about. Yeah,
McGee. That's what it is. Yep.
All
right. Anyway, Mean Street Posse go visit the Acolytes, who they've been feuding with, and say, listen, guys, we need protection. We need protection from the Radicals. And they just start throwing money on the table. Bradshaw gets all excited, and he says, hey, man, I got this idea for a new business, man. We could be a protection agency. The APA, the Acolyte Protection Agency. Fucking A.
Yep.
Love it.
And it's born.
It is born, and they fucking run full tilt with it, and it's great. We see the Radicals in the locker room talking to more of the roster. I think they ask where the women are. Godfather takes them to the hose. Next, you get X-Pac with Tori versus Jericho with Chyna for a non-title match. Chyna gets introduced separately, and this is the first we see her with her pyro bazooka.
Yes. The big gun.
The love gun.
Songs about her dick.
Jericho runs down. X-Pac says, you finally got to kiss a girl. You found the one woman in the world that's as stupid as you are. Tori gets on the apron at the end of the match, and she had the title, and she went to swing and hit Jericho, but she couldn't reach. She made contact with his shoulder. It made a good sound, and Jericho sold it. He didn't sell it like he got knocked out. He sold it like, okay, you missed. We can't hide this up. I'm going to sell my shoulder. Right?
Yep.
You know what I mean? So he did he did a good job with that. X-Pac hits an X-Factor for the win. Chyna takes out Tori. But after the title shot that Tori took, JR goes, "What a bitch!"
Mama must have already been asleep.
Yep. Mama's dead, remember? Before we go to break, we see the cat, or the bunny, because it's a snow bunny match, and her opponent for the title match, Hervina. I'm not going to lie, I did have to look it up, because I wasn't sure. I didn't realize I was going to find out, but we'll get there. We get the second WWF Super Bowl commercial. It's a Miss Universe pageant, and they all fight. Hooray.
Yeah.
Bradshaw's still pitching the APA to Farouk. The Dudleys come in. They want protection. And they say, well, we ain't got no money, but we'll write you a check. And Farouk goes, if that check bounces, so do you. So, we get our Lumberjills come out. It's BB, Ivory, Jacqueline, Luna, Mae Young, and Moolah. And it's the Cat versus Hervina in a Snow Bunny match for the women's title. It's basically you take a mud pit, but you put snow in there instead. Cat decides to have this match in brawn panties because Hervina is billed from Intercourse, PA, because Attitude Era. It's okay to laugh, don't worry.
I love it.
Because Attitude Era. It's Whippleman in drag. It's Harvey Whippleman in drag. And Hervina wins the women's title. Cole interviews her and says, where are you from? And Whippleman just speaks in his normal voice and says he's from Mississippi. He takes the wig off. Cole clowns him. The women beat him down. And they mention that Mae Young is pregnant.
Yes! Give her a hand.
She's going to give you a hand.
Oh, you don't get it.
Oh, I got it, unfortunately. Cactus brings the Radicals to Triple H and Stephanie's locker room, wants Triple H to hire him, and he says, we'll think about giving you guys an opportunity. So we get another handicap match. It's the Hollies versus Viscera. JR mentions they're going to do an interview with Austin, or air it, as previously done. Hollies win. Viscera takes out Crash post-match. Lawler teases the third WWF Super Bowl commercial and says it was rejected by ABC. I don't know if that's the case or not, because honestly, it wasn't any worse than the baby one. Because it was the other end of the spectrum. It was a retirement home with one old guy in a wheelchair just screaming puppies the entire time, peeing on the wall.
So, Lawler.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it was pretty funny. It was the best one out of the three. That's not saying much, but... we get the JR interview with Austin. He's in a neck brace, and it's funny because, they show him. It's hilarious. They show him just walking around. I'm assuming it was Austin's ranch at the time. And they're doing a voiceover as they're showing some of the intro footage, and he's just showing JR this massive rifle on a tripod that he has on, his fucking porch. He's like, yeah, look at that son of a bitch. But he's still drinking beer, and he actually, during the interview, they're sitting inside, and he actually takes off the neck brace to show you where the scar is, where they went in to do the surgery. He says he loves the ranch life, but being in the ring, that's the juice. So, there's that. Next, you get Matt Hardy versus Bubba Dudley. APA is there for protection. Devon throws a chair into the ring, but it goes right over Bubba's hand and over his head into Matt Hardy's hand. Matt hits a heat shot. It's a DQ. APA take out the Hardys. Edge and Christian come in for the save. APA takes them out. Tables. Powerbomb. Jeff threw Matt through 3 tables. The whole time, Bubba is basically just running down APA. Hey, we paid you to do a job. Do as you're told. Kind of running them down. All right, Cactus is back with the Radical. Says even Triple H can't be that stupid. And naturally, Stephanie and Triple H walk right up on him. Triple H says, hey, you're not quite ready. Now get out of here. I'm not asking. Security comes up, and Malenko goes, no. We'll walk out. That's fine. And you get your main event. It's Triple H versus Kane for the world title. Kane doesn't come out to his music, so Triple H calls him out. Gives Kane until the count of 10. Stephanie joins commentary. Cactus comes out instead. Cuts a promo on kicking the Radicals out. Cactus and Triple H fight. Radicals come in, take them out, and Steph just watches the entire time.
I'm not going to be here next week to tell you this. But on SmackDown, that following SmackDown, Eddie Guerrero goes to give a frog splash and breaks his fucking arm.
Breaks his arm, yeah. Yeah, you get him in the arm sling for all the promos.
Yep, for the upcoming shit. Yep.
Yep.
I was to say by Monday following up. Yep.
Oh, and Eddie had a real string of bad luck there.
No. Yeah, well, yeah, that's debatable. Anyway, so yeah, let's talk about Nitro.
All right, Nitro. Well, Raw was in Pittsburgh, and fittingly, Nitro is in Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania. All right. I like to do my typical title count for the 2000s. A little reminder, in WCW in the year 2000, the title has gone from Bret Hart to vacant, to Chris Benoit to vacant, to Sid. This is the last show of January. It's been 31 days and 15 hours. It's important to note, too, because on Thunder, Nash announces that Sid didn't really win the title because in the Roadblock match, he pinned the wrong Harris brothers when they pulled the switcheroo. So Sid gets stripped of the title, but he has a chance to win it back in a cage match against Nash and the Harris brother that he didn't pin. So the world title has now gone from Bret Hart to vacant to Chris Benoit to vacant to Sid to vacant to Sid. Because he won it that night again. So Sid's had 2 reigns. Vacant's had 3.
Dude, vacant Hall of Famer. We called it last week.
First ballot.
First ballot.
NWO's in the back. Scott Hall's on the phone trying to reach Nash, who isn't there. They have a little bit of back and forth. Nash wants to talk to Jarrett, and he tells Jarrett to be acting commish. Hall gets the phone back, and Nash hung up. So NWO comes to the ring. We got Mark Madden in for Heenan. Did you ever notice that Mark Madden looks like that boy?
Now I do.
I'm just saying.
That's funny. Wow. Okay, yeah. Nowadays, absolutely.
Steiner is running down the women in PA. That's why he had to bring his own hoochies, or his own freaks. And he's jawing with the fans again. I saw a couple things recently. It must have been because it was 25 years ago. That interaction with the fan that he busted open, apparently that was a fucking shoot. Like, it wasn't a plan or anything. Apparently he fucking just beat the shit out of some fan.
I don't think I knew that one.
Yeah, I don't know if it's true or not, but that I was seeing a lot of that. That it was, yeah. I mean, does it really surprise you? The Harris brothers get their NWO shirts. They're officially sworn in. And on February 20th, Super Brawl in San Fran, Jeff Jarrett books Sid in the world title match against himself. And he books a 6-man tag for tonight. It's going to be Jeff Jarrett and the Harris brothers versus Sid, and I'll let you know later. And one last message for the locker room. I take bribes. You know where to find me. That's going to be important. We see a limo arriving. It's Flair. He's here. And we see Jay Biggs with the new Harlem Heat. He's representing them now. We see Arn Anderson with Funk. Funk wants to know where Flair is. Lash LaRue versus Evan Courageous in the Cruiserweight tournament. LaRue wins. They go to the NWO locker room. Some caterer brings in a couple platters with subs on them. They're like, what the crap is this? Where's the lobster? Bring that shit back. Get us some lobster. Yeah, some of it worked. Gene is with David Flair, Crowbar, and Daphne, and David just giggles. Crowbar does his announcer voice, which is fucking hilarious. And the Mama Lukes, a.k.a. the Goons, run in and start a fight. And, yeah, apparently they won the tag titles on Thunder.
Yeah.
So there's that.
That's kind of what I assumed, because all of a sudden, when I saw them in the interview, I was like, oh, okay, they're tag champs now.
Yep, hooray. They're going to have a Bensonhurst street fight for the tag titles. That's a neighborhood in New York City where Mike Tyson's actually from. They end up outside in the snow. Disco Dishrag joins commentary. Stacy Keebler, a.k.a. Miss Hancock, comes to the ringside. Dick Nuts interferes, and the Goons retain. Brian Knobbs goes running.
Tyson is from a place called Bendham and Hurtham?
No, I most certainly did not. Bensonhurst.
Bendham and Hurtham. Okay, yeah, close enough.
No, I gotcha. Yeah, bam, nailed it. Brian Knobbs goes running into the NWO locker room with a fistful of cash. Now he's pissed at Fit Finlay. They were just like tag partners and training partners, but now they're okay. Fine. He wants Jeff Jarrett to book a match with Fit Finlay and Luger. And Jarrett says, all right, I promise you they'll be in the same ring tonight. Okay. All right. Booker T comes to the ring. Jay Biggs comes out with Harlem Heat and says, your music actually belongs to Harlem Heat, so you can't use it anymore. But we've collaborated and we have appropriate music for you, and it's just some generic WCW music. Biggs says it's meaningless music for a meaningless person like yourself. And by the way, the T in Booker T, that was used while you were part of Harlem Heat. So you can't use the T. You're just Booker now.
I respect you, Booker Man.
Booker Man. There you go. We get asshole chants, and Tanay kills it sometimes. He goes, I guess that's just another word for lawyer. Okay, come on, pretty good.
It's a good one.
Stevie says, let me give it to you in Ebonics, because you got to throw that out there. So, yeah, they basically then start talking about the T belongs to Big T and not Booker T. And Big says he has it under control. Midnight comes out, throws Biggs into the ring. And we get the, I'll sue. Don't touch me or I'll sue. And Booker hits him anyway. And then Harlem Heat come back, and I walked away.
So you can't have this T, but I'm going to use this T? It's
Something like that. It's got to be your T. Norman Smiley sees 3 count in the back and tells them I'm a former hardcore champ. And you know what? I think you guys are soft. So 3 count jumps Smiley. Great. Next we see Fit Finley in with the NWO. Jeff Jarrett plays the other side, and then he swerves, and he says, you know what, Finley, you're going to be the ref, and it's going to be Knobs against Luger. Jesus fucking Christ. Just figure it out. We randomly see Smiley running away backstage. I'm assuming it's from 3 count. And he runs into some random medieval torture device. But I forgot that it's actually the Demon's casket, a.k.a. the Kiss Demon's casket. And the casket closes slowly on Smiley, and he screams. Shivani just laughs. Just like on AEW. This is great, guys.
I'm excited about the Kiss Demon. I forgot about all this.
Kidman with Tori Will.
Trigger of mine.
Nailed it. Can that be the episode name?
Sure.
It's Kidman versus the Wall. Again, Vampiro shows up while Tori's distracting the ref. Kidman gets the win. It took the ref forever to get back to the pin. Like, Kidman was in the pinning position, and the ref, Tori didn't give the cue to, like, okay, go make the count now. Yeah, it took forever. Gene's in the ring with Ric Flair. We haven't seen this one in a while. Flair starts talking about all the Pennsylvania sports teams. At this time, remember, Ric Flair is 50.
70.
Yeah, talks about Space Mountain and such. He says he has something to clear up with Terry Funk. Funk alluded that Flair would come back and support Funk. Well, you're wrong. He calls Terry Funk to the ring. And at this point, I paused and I went and took a few bong rips. Not going to lie.
Because we're back in 1989.
Yeah.
See, I quit match again.
Funk's to the top of the ramp. He gets booed. Funk starts putting Flair over. And then he mentions a statement from Mick Foley's book. And it was Mick Foley saying that Ric Flair wouldn't make a decent-sized pimple on Terry Funk's ass on any given day. And he's just pissed because Flair's taking this personally, and we just want you to join us to stop the NWO. Tells Flair to grow up. Look at your son acting like a fool and an idiot. He needs discipline from his father. If I was his father, I'd beat on that son of a bitch. It's the year 2000. Terry Funk's cutting the best promo in WCW.
It's year 2000. Terry Funk is the best thing in WCW.
Yeah. He tells Flair, why don't you go back home to North Carolina and become governor? And he calls Flair a horse-toothed, banana-nosed bastard. Flair calls Funk to the ring. He does. Flair clowns Funk's shirt because it says the living legend. Funk attacks Flair. This is where it went terrible because it looked like two 50-year-old men fighting.
Yep.
It was terrible.
Like a nursing home over the Jell-O cup.
Mm-hmm. Pretty much. We cut to Jeff Jarrett in the NWO, and Jarrett says, looks like we found Sid 2 partners. The plot thickens. Gene's backstage talking about the whole Flair Funk situation. Sid walks in, cuts a promo on NWO. We see Miss Hancock with standards and practices. But they're not wearing the suits anymore. They're in just like their regular gear, Lenny Lane and Lodi. And says, this isn't us. And he's like, oh, great, we work for WCW. This is the second dumb gimmick they put us in. We're not doing it. And they just drop their suits off and walk away. They pull the fucking beaver cleavage.
Which tells you Vince wrote both of those.
Yeah, probably.
Bro, it worked with the headbanger.
Next, you get Luger versus Knobbs. Finley is your ref. Luger has a chair he brings to ring with him. It has the Sting Scorpion logo on it. Liz is on the apron while Knobbs is sitting on the top buckle and hits the worst baseball bat shot I've ever seen in my life. It was bad. She had to do it twice, and she did it so bad you could tell how gimmicked it was.
Yep.
It was fucking pathetic. But the best part is that Knobbs took the bump and sold it to the point when Luger Pillmanized his wrist. He didn't sell it because he's supposed to be knocked out. Yeah. Oh, and Finley, who was the ref, just left after the bat shot. Didn't call a DQ, just left. So, no contest.
No, we don't need to call it.
Yeah. We need to call it. We cut to the back, and Norman Smiley emerges from the demon's coffin in the Kiss Demon gimmick. Let me say that one more time. Norman Smiley is now the Kiss Demon.
So never mind.
And the best part is when we come back from break, we see the Kiss Demon in like boxer shorts talking to a PA about his missing gear, but not in like a badass, I'm a Kiss Demon and I'm a wrestler gimmick. No, just like he was a Karen at Hobby Lobby. You need to find my gear.
Gene Simmons did with his life in the year 2000.
Oh, God. So we get Smiley Kiss Demon versus Shane Helms, but Smiley is still screaming, and commentary dubs him the Screamin' Demon. And then Kiss Demon comes out with cops, and they chase Smiley off to the back. Great. Next, we get Gene with Diamond Dallas Page and Kimberly backstage. Kimberly saying things are good between them now. The Mama Lukes and Disco Dick Nuts walk by, and Kimberly goes, Disco Dick Nuts just grabbed my ass.
I wish she called him Dick Nuts.
Wouldn't that be great? Dick Nuts says, no, I didn't, you stupid bimbo. Kimberly slaps him, and DDP beats his ass. Isn't this the whole Tory storyline that they were just doing for a few weeks in WWF?
100%.
Jesus fucking Christ.
But, bro, our guy isn't wearing a mask.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, good call. DDP's music plays, him and Dishrag fight through the crowd to the ring, and DDP wins. Your main event is Jeff Jarrett and the Harris Brothers versus Sid, Terry Funk, and Ric Flair, but Flair never comes out. It's supposed to be a six-man tag. Most of the match was just all of them on the floor. Flair runs to the ring at the very end of the match. He's still in a suit. He attacks Funk, and then he bounces. The Harris Brothers pull the switcheroo again, but it doesn't matter because Jeff Jarrett hits a guitar shot and gets the pin. Good night, folks.
Can I tell you what my favorite part of the Monday Night Wars is each week?
When we get done with Nitro?
And you go, and it's main event. Oh, thank God.
Can hear the exasperation.
Like, how many more segments were there? I know I hit skip a lot, but like, how many?
I know, right? Jesus.
All right, man. Well, it's time to throw in the 30 names. Actually, this is like the least amount I feel like we've ever known heading into a Rumble. There's like 7 known at best.
Right.
But it's time to give the predictions and talk about past favorites. It's Royal Rumble time.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's now time for...
Best there is, the best there was, and the best that there ever will be. Hold 2, arm bar.
Sodas rule. Yeah, they do.
Hold 3, the moss-covered, 3-handle family gradunzel.
It's me, Austin! Just when they think they got the answers, I change the questions.
I did it for The Rock.
This week's top topic.
You know something mean, Gene? John Cena! Wrestling's not fake!
The Rolex wearing one, diamond ring wearing
Echo, Lima, Delta, Shield.
If you smell.
The following ranking order and final decisions are a completely bias-based order, based off The Professor and ODM made it. And as always, they like to let you know they have not worked in the business, but have been lifelong invested fans, much like you, our listeners. With not only their opinions involved, but with countless amount of hours of research done each week, they make sure to provide proper facts and history to back it up. However, they do know that your opinion may vary from theirs. If there is anything you want to chat about, bring to their attention. If there is something they missed or forgot, or you just want to let them know they are out of their freaking minds, feel free to shoot them a message on Facebook or Twitter, or email them at thetopofwrestling@gmail.com. As always, they do appreciate all feedback and continued support. At the end of the day, they want to make sure that you do see the best of the best before you die. And now, this week's top topic.
I gotta be honest, man. Big chance this is the year that Chris Benoit gets his second win.
Jesus
at the Rumble.
Christ.
Actually, I did see a really funny thing the other day. It was a picture of, do you remember how his Royal Rumble win ended?
No, not off the top of my head, no.
It was him basically doing like a suplex over the top rope where he had Big Show on his head and he was kicking him with his feet so he would go up and over the rope. Someone with AI took Benoit completely out of it, and it's a picture of Big Show just by himself taking himself out of the Rumble and said, "You remember that time that Big Show eliminated himself from the Rumble and ended it?" Just funny shit. Anyway, all right, man. Let's talk first. Let's talk this year's Rumble, okay? It's what's on your mind. It's what's on my mind. It's on everybody's mind. Who's winning this year's men's and women's Rumble? Now, I have our prediction set up as this. We're going to give two answers. The bold prediction, and then the likely, this is what it's going to be. And we could even put a hopeful, if you want. If you want to throw in a
sure.
I'd like to see this person win.
Right.
So let's start with the women, because they don't matter. I mean, this match, is going to go on first, is what I meant.
It don't matter.
I'm going to say likely. All signs are already pointing to it. I would assume probably Charlotte Flair. You got the vignettes. You got Stratton. She's the up-and-coming Flair. I can't see Flair going after Rhea. I can't see many people winning this Rumble to go after Rhea. Anybody that's noteworthy to me outside of maybe Becky Lynch. I did hear Rhea could possibly face Bianca Belair at WrestleMania. I heard that was a possibility. Cool. Good match. Outside of all right, that's my likely is Flair. Who's yours?
You nailed it. That's what I was going to say.
Okay.
Flair. It sounds like they're going to set up Flair versus Stratton. Plastic face versus plastic face.
Now, last year, I called Bayley.
Mm-hmm.
So, what's a bold? Who do you think is going to win or could win outside of Flair?
Jordan Grace.
Wow. Question, would you put her right into WWE or let her go to NXT? Why I ask is don't forget about the time Charlotte Flair won the Rumble, and she challenged Rhea Ripley for the NXT Championship.
That's a good question. I don't know, man. I think they can make a star out of her pretty quickly. I'm not going to sit here.
That is that would be bold as fuck.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's the point, right?
That's a big one. No, it is 100%. I'm gonna say out of all the ladies there, I was set to give Nia Jax this win, but facing Rhea Ripley multiple times now and losing, that's no good. I'm gonna say bold because I think she could go heel. That just doesn't work against everybody that's there. Man. I'm going to say bold is Imone.
Yeah, that's pretty bold.
But it's the best I could go with.
Yeah. No, I would almost even say, it could be Belair and she turns heel. She was the one that took out Jade. I know we were thinking it was Naomi. They could go that route.
Why would you take out your own tag team championship partner?
Because good guys are dumb. Yeah, because wrestling. Exactly. Thank you.
Okay. So Belair, all right. Tag Team Championship match. Motor City Machine Guns versus DIY. 2 out of 3 falls.
Mm-hmm.
I think DIY retains.
Yeah, it's tough because I feel like this has a potential to be a match of the night candidate.
Totally.
Because these guys kind of, as much as I clown Gargano, he can put on good matches with the right people. And I think these are the right people. Machine Guns, my problem with them is it seems like the crowd's not as invested in them as they should be because watching them work is fantastic. They're very fluid in the ring.
Maybe they need a good outing at a pay-per-view like this and not just being stuck on SmackDown.
Yeah, no, good call. This could get them over easily. I'm going to agree with you. I feel like DIY just turned and just got the titles. There's no sense to hotshot it right back to Motor City Machine Guns. Let's build some momentum for them and see where it goes from there.
Agreed. I'd be shocked if DIY loses them any time before Mania. The WWE Championship match. Cody Rhodes, Kevin Owens, ladder match. It's got to be Cody retains. As good as Owens is, they're not going to put the title on him.
It's fucked up, man, because this year's WrestleMania to me feels like when Flair got to WWF. And it was like, we're getting Hogan Flair, we're getting Hogan Flair. No, you're getting Flair Macho Man.
Yeah.
That's what I feel like with The Rock. The Rock could have faced Roman. The Rock could have faced Cody. But now Rock's face. Because, okay, so you're not going to wrestle him. And you might have to do reshoots, so you might not be there. So now what's going to happen? I don't feel like putting the title on KO at Rumble is the right play. I think it's got to build to Mania if Cody's going to lose. And you know what? Pick the right guy, and it's going to be worth it. I don't think Cody needs the title anymore.
Okay. We're in agreement. Cody wins.
Yeah.
Now let's talk about this Rumble.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Cody won back-to-back years. He's obviously not in this year, so that's good to know. You won't get a three-peat like some fucking frogs. But likely and bold. I'll let you go first.
Likely, I'm going with Cena.
Okay. I had that thought too, and then it's also I'm leaning towards that as my likely because the Punk scenario is, yes, he could win this, but he's got favors, and I feel like the favors is more important than this Rumble right now.
Mm-hmm. Agreed. Nailed it.
Now, bold. I would not be upset if Jacob Fatu won this fucking Rumble and faced Cody at WrestleMania.
Yeah. Because he takes over for Solo now.
Right? Not only that, he is on fire. People are watching the promos. They're loving him. His work is just... I mean, no big guy can do the work he's doing.
Mm-hmm.
I love Bronson Reed. You know what I mean? I love the big guys, but nobody can move Jacob Fatu style.
Right.
I would love a Cody and Jacob Fatu match. Then, you know, what headlines night one? Cody or Punk Roman? You know, like, because he's trying to get his main event spot, and it seems pretty goddamn clear Punk's going to have a main event spot, I feel like, at one of these nights.
Right.
So, my bold is Jacob Fatu.
That's who I was going to pick. I'm trying
Really?
to think of some of the other ones here.
I think bold would be Punk.
Yeah, see, I don't think
Because-
that's that bold. He's getting some of the, most amount of FaceTime,
Okay.
Cutting promos about that.
Here's why it's bold. Do you have him face Gunther? Or do you have him face Cody? Now, me personally, the biggest fuck you to TK.
Mm-hmm.
Have
Cody
those
Punk.
two headline a WrestleMania for the fucking championship, the WWE championship. The promos will write themselves. We already talked about this last year. We talked about the possibility of them because they had their promo that one night in Raw in the ring, and then they ended up being the last two in Rumble. it's not unheard of, or it's not unthinkable to do a Punk Cody setup, because both men are going to get booed and cheered equally amounts. Like, some areas Punk will get booed, in some areas Cody's going to get booed.
Mm-hmm.
That would be my bold pick, would be him winning it. Could you imagine the favor is this? It comes down to Punk and Roman, and he just looks over at Paul and goes, now. And Roman just has to eliminate himself. That was the favor.
That seems a bit far-fetched, but it would be something crazy. Yeah, I don't know, man.
I'm just saying. Bold to me is Cody and Punk. I want Punk to win if he's going to go on and face Cody. If he's not facing Cody, yep. But if he's not facing Cody, I don't want Punk winning the Rumble.
Fair enough. No, I can see that. Yeah, I'm trying to think of who else. They'll probably do something. Yes, I was gonna say stay away from Sami Zayn. Jey Uso's already had a world title shot. Don't give it to him.
Nakamura's in it. He's done and gone.
Yeah, exactly. He's got the U.S. title, and he did cut a promo about joining the Rumble and fulfilling his next destiny or whatever. But as fun as that would be, I don't want to see that again. Orton could come back. He could win, but who are you going against?
Orton
Cody or
winning,
Gunther?
that would be his third win, and outside of that, the story would write itself with him and Cody for Legacy.
Mm-hmm.
That would just completely write itself, and I mean, shit, that would be perfect, actually. And it almost would kind of line up, considering if that was the eventual plan, it kind of works out because KO took out Randy. Cody, Randy, and KO were all together as a team, and then, you know what I mean? So it's kind of like it would work itself in plan if Randy was to somehow come back and face Cody.
Mm-hmm. There you go.
The Elimination Chamber is where things get always thrown off.
Definitely.
I loved the end of Royal Rumble because I was like, okay, I know, like I'm talking like years ago.
Gotcha.
End of Royal Rumble, you're like, okay, the main event match of WrestleMania is this and this. I don't have to worry too much about it. Maybe something might happen on Raw, but for the most part, we're staying still.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Chamber does fuck with it because they'll pull the trigger there. They've done it before.
A couple of times they have. Not in recent years, but they have in the past. Like Jericho taking Taker's title. So that was Edge and Jericho, and then Taker and Michaels. You know what I mean? Like Bray winning it, you're right, against, for the 1 month reign that he got. Oh, Jesus. I don't even want to talk about that one. The Worms. The Worms will get you. That's also from No Holds Barred. Let's talk about some past Royal Rumble moments, some fun ones. I've actually been dabbling through. My favorite thing to do in January is watch some old school Royal Rumble. And the first two were kind of your lackluster ones. You got Jim Duggan winning the first one and Big John Studd on the second one. The first one that I ever watched was 1990, and that was Hulk Hogan winning it. And, I just put on that one the other night as well as 91. And there's a difference when you go back and watch these Rumbles. Nobody is sitting in the goddamn corner waiting for the next spot. Everybody is paired and fighting someone or trying to throw someone over at all times. Mm-hmm. It's not until like 93 when Bob Backlund started sitting down, everybody's like, wait, why haven't we thought of that shit? Really bothers me. But before the Rumble in 91, I just happened to watch this the other night. Hogan was in shambles because Slaughter just won the WWF Championship from Warrior, and he also had burned an American flag, and he wanted to say Sergeant Slaughter is worse than, and he couldn't get it out. He didn't know what he was going to say. He's worse than, and Gene Okerlund just goes, yeah. I lost it. Swear to God, I started dying when I was watching this shit just the other night. I was like, oh, why have I never seen that one before? I'm like, I think I've actually skipped over this promo many times. 92, everybody's big favorite, right? Ric Flair winning the WWF Championship. It was big because, you go back and look, it is a huge star-studded match, and anybody could have been your WWF champion at that time looking at it. Sure, you got Barbarian and Warlord getting in there. You're like, well, they're not going to win it. But for the most part, you had a lot of big names. And, from Taker to Jake the Snake, Macho Man, Hogan, Flair, everybody. It was a big ass fucking. It was one of the better ones. 93 was Yokozuna, and the downfall for that one will always be. Oh, actually, let me go back to something. In 1991, number 18 never came out. They go,
really?
And number 18, and you could see Animal from LOD like in the background a little bit, like through the curtain, and that's it. And I don't know, someone just never came in. They go, well, he's been disqualified, he's not coming in. And that was a thing that happened. I think it happens in 1994 as well. They just always have these weird issues. You got hundreds of wrestlers, yet someone couldn't come in. But in 1993, the worst part that always makes me think about it is you have to get to the end when Yokozuna, and it's down to him and Macho Man, and Macho Man goes for the pin. I don't get it. It just bothers me.
You had a brain
Outside
fart.
of that, I guess. The next year was it. They could not have gone over more in sync than they did when it was Bret Hart and Lex Luger going. The most athletic and wrestling capable thing that Lex Luger has really ever done was go over the rope at the same time with Bret Hart. This isn't the one where McMahon tore his quads coming in like the Cena Batista one. They declared both guys the winner in this one. 95, Michael's the first guy to go bell to bell, coming in at number 1 and going into the end. Never to be done again. I mean, I heard someone did it in 2004, but
did Flair come in at 2 when he won?
3.
Oh, okay.
Flair came in at 3. 1996, Michaels went back-to-back, kicking Diesel out at the very end. I will say one of my favorite moments in that 96 Rumble was when, and we watched it during the Wars. No, wait, did we miss it? No, we missed that part of the Wars, didn't we? The beginning of 96.
Yes.
Yes, we did. Michaels comes in, and there was these two guys. They were like the SWAT team, but they were two giant, big motherfuckers, like both bigger than Yokozuna. And he goes and takes both guys and flips them over the rope at the same time because they were leaning into it the right way. And Michaels is on fire. It was after getting beat up in Syracuse and shit. It was awesome. 97, we watched this one. Austin gets thrown out, yet still comes back in the ring and wins the fucking Rumble, making Bret Hart that much of a crybaby. And then Conestold wins it in 1998, according to Mike Tyson, who was up in the rafters with Shane McMahon. 1999, McMahon. Motherfucker. It's still pissing me off. The one we just recently watched, The Rock, or Big Show, depending on how you look at it.
Yeah.
In 2001, was Steve Austin. That was, dude, the most amount of weapons ever in a fucking Royal Rumble. Because it's peak Attitude Era 2001 here. I mean, it's just, it gets pretty rough. And it's awesome, though. Triple H's big comeback in 2002. Of course, after he made that comeback at Madison Square Garden, comes back, wins the Rumble. 03, Brock Lesnar. 04, question mark. I don't know who won that one. Probably the guy that Kevin Sullivan killed.
Yeah. Jesus Christ.
2005 is the year of the double torn quad for McMahon when Batista throws out John Cena. Rey Mysterio won because Eddie Guerrero died. So in 2006, he won the Rumble. 2007, Undertaker is the first man to ever come in at number 30 and win, which sounds so fucking unheard of for nearly 20 years at that point of Rumbles.
Right.
That was the first one. John Cena coming back from his pectoral muscle or tear in Madison Square Garden at number 30, which is funny, back-to-back 30s ended up winning. Randy Orton in 09, which we all thought the Rocket was strapped to him, only to lose to Triple H at WrestleMania. One of the biggest letdowns. Edge made a comeback after being injured for quite some time and came back and won the 2010 Rumble with a real big-ass beard. In 2011, Alberto Del Rio won the 40-man, only time that there was a 40-man Royal Rumble, last eliminating Santino Marella, which everyone thought Santino had a shot, and I'm not going to lie, I kind of did too. The way they made it look for half a second, I was like, I mean, I could get behind Santino going to WrestleMania. everyone was pissed off when in 2012 Chris Jericho made his comeback, so they're like, great, we're going to get Punk and Jericho. So why wouldn't Jericho be the first person to get eliminated and Sheamus wins? And that one, by the way, is when Sheamus went on and beat Daniel Bryan in 10 seconds.
Yep.
That was a letdown. 2013, John Cena won it because they were trying to set up a second time in a lifetime. 2014, poor Batista just got booed out of the arena because everybody wanted Daniel Bryan to win it, and Punk had been eliminated. This was his final Rumble that night. The following year, they did not do themselves any service by letting Roman Reigns win, and Kane and Big Show eliminating every possible face that you could like that could win it. I mean, people are like, okay, fine, fuck it, Ziggler, we'll let him win. Oh, god damn it, there goes him. Dean Ambrose, I could be a Dean Ambrose fan this year. Motherfucker. Jesus Christ. Okay, fine, maybe I will be an R-Truth fan. Like, it was bad. Like, you wanted anybody to win other than Roman Reigns, and it was clear as shit how they did that year.
Mm-hmm.
The following year, Roman Reigns' championship was on the line. Number 3, out comes AJ Styles, one of the biggest pops in Royal Rumble history. I mean, that was huge.
Mm-hmm.
And Triple H comes out as number 30 and wins Roman Reigns' championship. I was okay with that. That made me laugh. Randy Orton won the following year in 2017, which gave him that Wyatt family push in the follow-up to take Bray's championship. The year that we thought that it was finally going to happen the right way. It was the year of the first ever Women's Rumble, as well as in the Men's Rumble. 2 Japanese stars win it. Shinsuke Nakamura and Asuka win the Royal Rumble. And both fail to win the championship at WrestleMania 34. Bullshit.
Yeah.
Asuka taps Nakamura. Oh, yeah.
The
following year, the Power Couple won it, as Seth Rollins and Becky Lynch both respectively won in 2019. Of course, Rollins going on to face Lesnar at that WrestleMania, and Becky becoming the man against Flair and Rousey at that WrestleMania. 2020, I just recently rewatched it, at least for the first half only. Brock Lesnar beating the living piss out of everybody for the first half of the Rumble. Drew McIntyre comes in, and then the place just erupts, because from there you got Styles, you got Ziggler, you got Orton, and the return of Edge.
Mm-hmm.
Easily one of my favorite Rumble matches of all time. And Drew wins. It was huge. The follow-up and payoff would have been so nice if there wasn't a pandemic. I mean, Jesus.
Seriously.
It was such a good setup. And also in 2020, that's when Charlotte Flair won and goes on to face Rhea Ripley for the NXT Championship, which Rhea lost as well. Actually, didn't she have some visa issues or something?
I don't think
I feel
so.
like she had... maybe I'm wrong.
No.
In 2021, we did a live watch-along of this, and I remember how pissed off you were. Edge won the Royal Rumble. That's the same night that we watched Roman Reigns get handcuffed and lay down for 45 minutes in a last man standing match.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah. And then that's when Bianca Belair won the Women's Rumble. In 2022, this one I called. I said Brock Lesnar's going to lose his championship earlier in the night, and he's going to go out and win the fucking Rumble at the end of the night. I didn't want to be right. I just knew it.
Yeah, seen that movie before.
Yep. And that is when Ronda Rousey won the Women's Rumble. I think that was probably the most letdown Rumble of all time, was both of them winning it.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't care for that Rumble at all. 2023 was Cody winning it in his first one, and that's when Rhea Ripley won that, her women's one. That was the same night that Sami Zayn turned on the Bloodline. One of the better Rumbles to me, like big ass night. That unbelievable Mountain Dew match. Dark.
The one where I went out and bought the bottle the next day.
Yeah, the one where I could have watched Bray Wyatt's last match, and I chose to get high instead, and I never watched his final wrestling match ever.
Yeah,
There's
it wasn't
that.
really. Yeah.
And then, of course, last year, Cody Rhodes doing the unthinkable, going back to back, and Bayley, the one I called, turning face, turning on Damage Control, and winning her championship. Cody finishing the story. So this year, I mean, man, you look at it. The last 2 years has been a face for the guys, mostly faces, a lot of them faces when you really look at it.
Yeah.
Could be a heel this year. A heel going after Cody.
Yeah, it could be.
Jacob Fatu.
Yeah, we'll see.
I love you, Jacob Fatu.
It'll probably just
be the new one.
It'll probably just be Kevin Owens.
It's going to be fucking Gilbert.
That would be awesome.
The problem is that I can't discuss any of this next week. No matter what happens, I have to stay 100% fucking silent. Minimum 3 weeks. And I can't talk or say a sound or even whisper during the fucking Royal Rumble. I'm having an issue with this, okay? It's going to be very tough.
I'd imagine so, yeah.
Like, my wife found a whiteboard, but I don't think I'm going to be able to write fast enough.
Probably
and
not.
The biggest thing is, like, let's say, like, Becky Lynch comes back and wins the Rumble. You're just going to see me going...
Ding, 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 ding.
I'm about to annoy the shit out of this household with that thing this week. Well, come on back next week. It's going to be a different kind of show for y'all. It's going to be ODM, not the Professor. So I'm going to bid you guys a very long farewell until I do make my way back. You guys are in good hands. It's going to be a good show. I can't wait to listen along. And leaving us with his final thoughts of the week is your new host of the Top of Wrestling for the next month, ODM.
Good wrestling day. And thanks, Professor.
Good wrestling day.
I think that's gonna. Why did you say it like you were Japanese?
Wow, funny enough is I was actually trying something completely different than that. That was like more of like a very
English professor or something.
British man. Like good wrestling day. Oh, good wrestling day.
Oh, Jesus Christ, the show's over. We'll see you next week.
Hey man, have a good wrestling day.
Her panties.
All right, what are your thoughts?
My thoughts is we went off the fucking rails. You'll be fine. We can still text. That'll be good. You got any ideas for the show, let me know. ODM After Dark. Good wrestling day. It's going to happen. That's you. I got nothing. Good night, folks. The Top of Wrestling Podcast is brought to you by The Top of Wrestling Podcast. Your hosts are the Professor Mark Fantasia and ODM The Doc Joe Rizzo. Feel free to reach out to the show by email at thetopofwrestling@gmail.com, on their Facebook page, Twitter page, Instagram page. Remember to subscribe, like, and share. You can listen to the show on most popular platforms, including iTunes, Spotify, Podbean, Amazon Music, Pandora, and YouTube. Without your continued support, it would be just some guys talking wrestling, which is pretty much what it is anyway. Good night, folks.
My mama called me.
I actually laughed when you texted that. JR Stroke Face.
JR Stroke
My
Face.
mama just called me. Let's play a quick game, okay? Before we get going.
Okay.
Got one for you. All right. I want you to just name a bunch of wrestlers that are in the Royal Rumble, and I'm going to tell you who I think is going to win, okay?
Okay. Should I just go now?
Yep.
CM Punk, Drew McIntyre, Ric Flair, AJ. That's fucking awesome. You know you're going to drive her nuts with that, right? She's going to take it.
It was her idea.
Oh,
Do you know why?
Why?
Because she hates.
Oh,
She
yeah, I
hates
could see
snapping.
that. I could see
So
that.
if I was like that, so she'd rather me go because I need help.
Dude, I can almost guarantee that she's going to take it back.
Are you hungry? Are you thirsty? Do you have to poop?
That's
Are we on
awesome.
the planet Jupiter?
Yeah.
Are we on
the
Earth?
planet Mars?
All right.
That's fucking awesome.